This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 17th day of November in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The International Court of Justice began public hearings today in the case concerning the arbitral award of 1899, which settled the border dispute between Venezuela and Guyana. The hearings, which are now underway, are specifically dealing with the preliminary objections raised by Venezuela in response to Guyana's submission of its memorial on the merits of the case. Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez was the first to take the floor, representing the Bolivarian Republic. In her opening statement, she said that Venezuela is the indisputable owner of the territory west of the Essequibo River. The vice president said while her country respects the ICJ as the court of the United Nations, it maintains that it does not have the jurisdiction to entertain the case. She said Caracas will nonetheless demonstrate that Guyana's application is inadmissible through its participation. Further, in her opening remarks, the Venezuelan vice president noted that nothing in the Geneva Agreement indicates that the parties agreed to resolve the validity of the award. In fact, she said it was the United Kingdom and Venezuela that reached the initial agreement, and therefore on that basis, she believes that Guyana's case is inadmissible. The Venezuelan vice president pleaded with the International Court not to admit Guyana's application.
Furthermore, an application has been filed against Venezuela by someone who did not participate in the fraud of 1899, even though Guyana, together with the United Kingdom, recognized in 1966 the Venezuelan claim, thus committing itself to an amicable settlement through his subsequent accession to the Geneva Agreement. Intentional interpretation of the agreement by Guyana affect the right of the Venezuelan people and vital interests of the Republic, specifically his territorial integrity. For this reason, Venezuela, in compliance with his constitutional duty and in accordance with international law, filed preliminary objections to the admissibility of the application in question. We submit that this court would not be in a position to resolve Guyana's application because the United Kingdom, the indispensable party to settle the subject matter of the dispute requested by Guyana, is not participating.
Guyana will present its side of the arguments tomorrow as to why the case should be entertained by the ICJ. Venezuela has long said it preferred the matter to be settled through dialogue with Guyana. But Guyana has accused Venezuela of engaging in intimidation tactics and opted for the International Court in accordance with the recommendation of the United Nations General Assembly. Guyana has retained several high-profile international lawyers to represent the case before the International Court, with Sir Srinath Ramphal being the country's co-agent and lead counsel. Guyana's position is that the award of 1899 remains legally binding and has settled the dispute. More news coming up in a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
biggest Black Friday sale this year?
I found this on the web for you.
It's Giftland's biggest sale ever this Black Friday from Monday 21st to Friday 25th November. Get up to 80% off on electronics, household items, clothing, shoes, accessories, cosmetics, furniture, and much more.
Hey Siri, direction to Giftland Mall, please.
Getting directions to Giftland Mall.
Sorrel making, hey, garlic postering, hey, ham and black cake eating. Now this is Christmas. 'Tis the season to get what you've always wanted with a little help from Republic Bank. Same day approvals apply online. It's time to make it happen for yourself and your family. Get cash back for the best Christmas ever. Sorrel making, hey, garlic postering, hey, ham and black cake eating. Now this is Christmas.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
The British Trade Commissioner to Latin America and the Caribbean, Jonathan Knott, has indicated that trade between Guyana and the United Kingdom has increased by almost 50% during the final quarter of this year.
I think we're in a really exciting moment because the trade between the UK and Guyana has grown by 50% in the 4 quarters up until this last quarter.
According to the UK's Department for International Trade, as of the 2nd of November, total trade in goods and services, exports plus imports, between the UK and Guyana was £750 million in the 4 quarters to the end of 2022, an increase of 45.9%. It was explained that total UK exports to Guyana amounted to £454 million, while UK imports from Guyana amounted to just over £296 million. Guyana is the UK's 90th largest trading partner, accounting for 0.1% of total UK trade. The Trade Commissioner said the UK-Guyana Partnership Agreement, which was signed on Wednesday, together with the Enhanced Partnership Agreement with CARIFORUM, augurs well for Guyana. Under the UK-Guyana Partnership Agreement, the two sides are expected to form a joint working group, which is intended to lay the foundation for increased commercial partnership in the areas of infrastructure, social housing, education, health, agriculture, agri-tech and technology, among other areas. Mr. Knott said the UK is ready to meet the needs of Guyana and will deliver high quality of goods and services as part of the long-term partnership.
We would like to introduce quality UK companies to Guyana, companies who have delivered before with experience, companies who have delivered in Latin America and the Caribbean, companies with cutting-edge technology and solutions, so that what Guyana can choose from is the best possible selection.
He also said the trade mission currently in Guyana includes some of the UK's leading companies that are excited to bring their expertise here, and the government of the UK will ensure the absolute best is given to the people of Guyana, he said.
Now our priority is to make sure that those companies bring efficiency, bring complete transparency, but bring quality. And I think that's the other thing I'd stress. The UK is here for the long term. Our companies don't want to come, sell something, deliver a service and then head back home. The companies we brought here in the trade mission this time around, but also the ones we'd like to bring in the future, want to have a long-term relationship with Guyana. They want to make sure that the products, the services, the contribution they make to the development of Guyana last for years. Whether it's a road, whether it's a hospital, whether it's a school.
Knott said it is his expectation that a joint working group will define and deliver a time-bound action plan. Meanwhile, the British High Commissioner to Guyana, Jane Miller, deemed the trade mission a success. Already, President Irfan Ali has indicated that incentives will be offered to companies that invest in Guyana at this time. Guyana has recorded a 4% increase in fatal accidents, with more than 90 persons killed so far for this year. That's according to the traffic chief, Dennis Stevens. Speaking recently at a police forum held at a police officers' mess, Superintendent Stevens explained that between the 1st of January and the 14th of November, 90 persons were killed in 83 accidents, representing that 4% increase in fatal accidents when compared to the same period a year ago. Of those killed, the majority were men. It was explained that 74 men and 16 women were killed in vehicular accidents. A total of 6 children were also killed. The traffic chief said that based on the data garnered, many of those fatal accidents occurred in the evening time.
We will also acknowledge that speeding, inattentiveness would have been the most contributing factor towards an accident, and also drivers and pedestrians would have been the leading cause of accident. And more so, in fact, for this year, pedestrians would have been the most vulnerable group who would have died as a result of accident during this period.
Further, with the festive season quickly approaching, the police force has pointed out that there was also a spike in fatal accidents towards the end of last year and early days of this year. Between the 15th of November 2021 and the 15th of January 2022, the Guyana Police Force recorded 11 fatal accidents, which resulted in 17 deaths. Between the 1st of January and the 14th of November this year, the police force recorded 9,206 cases involving speeding, 459 cases involving the use of cell phones while driving, and 1,932 cases involving the breach of a road service license. There were 645 cases that were made out for driving under the influence. Paid parking, traffic management, and the creation of an economic zone are among plans in store for the city of Georgetown. Should the independent Citizens for Progress, a small apolitical group, gets a seat at the horseshoe table when local government elections are held in March of next year. The group, led by 67-year-old broadcaster Bobby Vera, promises to clean up the city and address head-on the financial challenges plaguing the municipality. During a virtual press conference on Wednesday, Mr. Vera said the city is suffering for far too long. He said at a time when massive structural developments are taking place in Georgetown, the city council is being starved of resources, and the city has been left in a state of chaos from the market to the busy downtown streets. Vera said the independent Citizens for Progress intends to address those burning issues by working with all sides.
Our goal is to work with each and everyone, beginning with the government, the private sector, business owners, citizens, and other groups and organizations who will join us as we work wholeheartedly towards the development of the city of Georgetown. To do so, therefore, it will be necessary for us to get involved in the policy making and management of the city.
Among the key issues to be addressed is the outdated tax regime. Vera said while the municipality depends on taxes, rates and taxes have not increased for decades, with owners of superstructures paying the same rates and taxes as the owners of much smaller buildings. He said too that building codes are a thing of the past, and developers continue to construct and modify buildings without any regard to residents, the city's bylaws, or the provision of parking facilities. On the issue of parking, the group intends to establish an economic zone within which persons would be required to pay a small monthly parking fee.
We are looking at asking motorists, first of all, our intention is to take, and everything that we are talking about has to be approved by government, starting with the Minister of Local Government and obvious, but we subsequently cabinet. But we are looking at establishing the establishment of a business economic zone. This business economic zone will be bordered by certain streets. For example, on the east, Lissingen Road, on the west, Water Street, on the north, Lamaha Street, on the south, Hatfield Street. Anybody who comes into that business zone and parks should be responsible for paying a small parking fee. We looked at $1,000 per month per car, a SUV, $1,500. A truck, $5,000. But you must pay for parking because the bylaws of the city gives the city permission to charge for parking.
Vera also said the municipality cannot survive alone on rates and taxes, and government subvention must therefore create other revenue streams. The reintroduction of ward cleaning gangs, updating of vending regulations and guidelines, along with stricter revenue collection are also on the cards, he said.
Our concern is about the city of Georgetown. That's where we're going after. Political parties will trash out any issues relating to the list. We are working towards fixing this city. That will be our focus. Whatever the list consists of, well, then we'll have to deal with it because as far as I'm concerned and what I've observed is that nothing is going to be changed with the list as of now. So instead of sitting and waiting and questioning and asking, we are positioning ourselves again with the emphasis of working towards fixing the city of Georgetown. That is our concern.
The new group intends to field candidates in each of the 15 constituencies within the municipality of Georgetown. And according to Vera, the other members of the group will be unveiled on nomination day, which is set for the 12th of December.
GBTI Quick Cash Christmas is back, just the way you like it. Get up to $500,000 easy for anything you want this Christmas. We ain't waiting on Santa. We buy and we own this Christmas. Apply at your nearest branch or online at www.gbtibank.com from October 15th to December 31st. GBTI, we see Christmas through your eyes. Terms and conditions apply.
A very Merry Guyanese Christmas.
Family members of land surveyor Jermaine LaRose are raising questions about his disappearance following that boat mishap in the Mazaruni River a week ago. LaRose and the workmate reportedly jumped from a boat owned by the Georgian Mines Commission after it started to sink, according to the boat's captain and another man who survived the mishap. The two men who jumped from the sinking boat were only discovered missing when the captain and the other man swam to shore. The body of one of the men has since been recovered in the Mazaruni River, while LaRose's body remains missing. In a statement today, the brother Jeffrey LaRose said the family has been receiving different stories about the reported incident and would like to be provided with the true details of what took place, as they still hold out hope that LaRose will be found alive. The brother said it is understood that the police force in the area based their investigations on information provided to them by the survivors, and investigators have shown no interest in discovering the boat that sank. He said they were told that the assigned divers made efforts to locate the boat on Thursday and Friday of last week, but they came up empty-handed, given the inconsistency of information received by the survivors. He also said that due to the inconsistencies of the reports provided and the fact that his brother's body is still to be recovered, the family wants to know if there may have been some foul play involved. Family members are calling for a full and thorough investigation into the accident. The Private Sector Commission has lobbied the government to establish a local content advisory committee and expand the further categories of sectors and subsectors covered under the Local Content Act. In his address during the opening ceremony of the PSC's Local Content Forum today, the PSC Chairman Paul Chang said government should swiftly move to establish the advisory committee.
We are calling also for the establishment of the Local Content Advisory Committee as is required by the law, as we have already identified our member.
Under the local content legislation, the committee should have no less than 7 members appointed by the President. Members ought to be selected from the Office of the President, the Ministries of Natural Resources, Finance, Home Affairs and Labor, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, the Guyana Revenue Authority, the Private Sector Commission, and the Chambers of the Attorney General, among other ministries and agencies. The PSC chairman also made a case for the 40 sectors and subsectors listed in the first schedule of the Local Content Act to be expanded.
One year since the schedule was established, we believe the time to expand those 40 categories is now. The capacity and the skill of the Guyanese have expanded. Many companies have invested and have established partnerships. The Commission is pushing for more opportunities for Guyanese businesses. It is now up to us to up our game and to deliver quality services in keeping with the standards and requirements of the oil and gas sector.
Under the legislation, contractors and subcontractors with the petroleum sector must utilize various percentages of Guyanese businesses outlined in the first schedule. For example, 90% of their office space must be rented from Guyanese, and the same is required for accommodation. The schedule also includes provision for pipe sandblasting and coating offshore, structural fabrication, waste management, janitorial and laundry services, food supply, transportation and shipment and chandlery services, among other important sectors. Mr. Chang said to the recent announcement by the government that it has already drafted regulations and guidelines for Company Local Act is a welcomed move. More than 400 local companies have already registered with the Local Content Secretariat.
Census takers are visiting communities across Guyana and collecting information from every household. This information will help the government to plan better for our country's development. All the information shared will be treated as strictly confidential, and everyone is asked to participate. No one should be alarmed about any question asked, because the answers provided will help to improve living standards, decrease community crime rates, and improve access to housing and healthcare, among other benefits.
The census gives us the tool to identify some of these important gaps that exist across communities, within communities, and across regions, so that we can have targeted intervention.
Yeah, we counting way from region 1 to region 10, the whole country. Yeah, we counting way.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor at the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyoil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyoil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Haiti's cholera outbreak is worsening, with confirmed cases jumping to more than 700 and cholera-related deaths to 161. That's the latest from the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO. Health officials are investigating a further 7,000 suspected cases of cholera in Haiti. PAHO's head Carissa Etienne said 500,000 people were at risk of contracting cholera. The UN has appealed for nearly $150 million to help contain the spread of the disease in Haiti. The current outbreak started at the beginning of October when 2 cases were confirmed in the Greater Port-au-Prince area. Before those 2 cases, there had not been any for more than 3 years. Haiti had been cholera-free until 2010, when an outbreak spread from leaking sewage pipes from a UN base housing Nepalese peacekeepers. Almost 10,000 people died as a result of that outbreak. The UN later apologized for its failure to prevent the spread of the disease. Cholera is contracted by eating food or drinking water contaminated with the bacterium Vibrio cholerae. The former vice president of football's world governing body FIFA, Austin Jack Warner of Trinidad, has lost the final battle in his fight against extradition to the US on corruption charges. The former vice president of football's world governing body FIFA, Austin Jack Warner, has lost the final battle in his fight against extradition to the US on corruption charges. London's Privy Council, which is Trinidad and Tobago's highest appeal court, today dismissed Warner's lawyer's contention that the extradition request was unlawful, paving the way for the extradition proceedings in Trinidad and Tobago's magistrates court to continue. Warner had challenged the procedure of the extradition proceedings following the U.S. request back in 2015 for him to face charges of wire fraud, racketeering, and money laundering in the U.S. Warner, who also served as CONCACAF president, was indicted in May 2015. U.S. prosecutors alleged that from as far back as 1990, he leveraged his influence and exploited his official positions for personal gain. Among other things, the 79-year-old former football administrator is accused of receiving $5 million in bribes. And finally tonight, international news. A deal between Israel's Prime Minister-elect and his far-right partner reveals the likely next government's highly controversial plans for settlements. It includes moves to legalize dozens of outposts in the occupied West Bank. If the plan becomes policy, it will set Israel on a collision course with the Palestinians and its foreign allies. Jewish settlements are widely seen by the international community as illegal, but Israel disagrees. Outposts, though, are illegal even under Israeli law. Prime Minister-elect Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing Likud party sent out a statement on Wednesday on what they agreed would go into the coalition agreement, which has yet to be signed. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.